This video is made for my man Mervyn Herd. Back in the day, his friends talking about him graciously. Mervyn Herd. Here we go.
He was a presence. He had a presence in the drum corps. Aside from the things that are written on the presentation, which I'm going to skip over because it's 2 pages long. Thanks, Frank. And when I joined the corps, young guy, I was 17. They put me between 2 baritone players, both the same age as my father. Wonderful. I didn't see a beer for months. And I was struggling, come from a parade corps. I was really struggling with the drill. And Lou Axman, late Lou Axman, turns to me and says, "Murphy, you don't stop screwing up, Mervyn Herd's going to eat you." I said, "God, yeah. What's a Mervyn Herd?" And he said, "You see the 2 guys standing over there with the white shirt? Yeah. The flag, yeah, that's Mervyn Herd." The 2 guys. Big boy. But he had an incredible sense of humor. We'll get to that later. When he came to the Sun from St. Catharines, Queensland, and as Doherty put it, he came with some very strange baggage. He brought a flagpole, some drumsticks, and a horn. Because in the 6 years he marched in St. Catharines, he played something different every year. And it's not that he wasn't very good at it, it's just that he was the kind of guy, what you need. You know, I don't want to play solo soprano, you go third soprano, I'll play second front. Sure, whatever you want, okay, I'll do that. Give me a flag, I'll carry a flag. That's when they had his all-male corps. Bass drum, cool. In fact, there's a picture of him in the American Legion State Parade, I think 62 or 61. He was walking down the street beating the bass drum. They had just got new uniforms, so they were in T-shirts. And he's got an umbrella beating the bass drum. The most dignified picture you've ever seen of an outrageous situation, serious as hell beating the drum. Anyway, Mervyn was the ultimate utility infielder. Anything you asked him to do, he did it. He did it well. He played bass drum, straight bass. He played horizontal bass. He played tune bass. You guys are familiar with those? He played double horizontal tune bass. And that was not the same year at all. That was like 4 different years. In 68, when we had our best horn line, Mervyn was the guy they built the 3rd baritone section around, because we didn't have one. We had no 3rd baritone players. Was it Bill Stalza that drafted? No, it was your brother, John.
John played 3rd.
Yeah, his Reb John played 3rd. One of George Noble's buddies kept hanging around the corps. George said, "You're not going to, ride free to rehearsal. Give the horn on and play." So he taught him to play a horn, and Bud Woodward, Tennessee. Remember Tennessee?
Oh, yeah, Tennessee.
And these were 4 of the goofiest guys you've ever seen. I mean, they just were always banging off the walls. And, everybody picks on the 3rd baritone. I know, I've been there. Everybody, 3rd baritone sections, they're dummy, like, Well, we were working on Conquest, and John singles out the 3rd baritone section. Let me hear the 3rd baritones play this. And he gets to this bar 13, which is infamous for being nasty. So the 4 3rd baritones pick up the horns and they start to play. They go through the whole thing and they finish, they bring the horns down, they're looking down at the music. And there's not a sound in the place, so maybe a second or 2, and then the rest of the horn line erupts, because it was immaculate. It was fantastic, perfect. I mean, the solo line decided, we don't want to play that part, it's too hard. But everybody's yelling and screaming and whistling, and Mervyn slowly raises his head, he looks around, he says, Well, you all think you really didn't think we were going to up, do you? So, anyway, that's part of his magic. The other is that he tended to lift the spirits of the Corps. He had a knack for wandering around. You guys back in that table should remember. He'd be wandering around singing pop songs with the most outrageous and obscene lyrics you've ever heard. And just singing softly. And once again, he's marching. When he had the flag, he's marching with a great deal of dignity. He's one of the first guys I ever saw. And he said, oh, that's the other thing, is the American flag section. When, at the end of one of our Coma Pries, we didn't see this stuff because we were too busy playing. There's an outrageous roar. We didn't know what it was. And what had happened is, when we got down to the presentation point, the stop, the climax, Mervyn takes the flag out of the socket. That's in the days when they carried it or sling with the sock. Okay? He picks it up like this and goes one-handed with the 8-foot American flagpole with the flag on top of it, standing just like a big brown Statue of Liberty. I mean, there it is. People went nuts. But he had that kind of sense of humor. There's all kinds of stories about him. But he was always at the heart of getting things going, picking us up when we were down, particularly. But probably the most important thing is the time he spent with a lot of the younger kids, straightening them out.
Yeah, taking my cigarettes.
Yeah, that too.
And taking my grass.
Yeah, he's 17 years old and Forsberg was saving his life.
There you go. This is part of his gig, man. Getting lung cancer. But he spent a lot of time as a goodwill ambassador of the Corps. Everybody who knew him, Mervyn, liked Mervyn. He got along with everyone. And I mean, even if it was just through intimidation, he served the Corps. And I probably should have read that because that is much better written than what I've done. But it'll be posted, and you can see what an intelligent presentation of Mervyn Herd's virtues are. And again, thank you all for coming tonight.
God bless Mervyn Herd. May you rest in
We do the Hall of
peace.
Fame every 2 years. Give
My
us a
brother
chance to
Mervyn.
think. And I'd like to see next year a lot more input, because I can't believe that there are only 85 people who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Because how many thousands of people have passed in this Corps have had a dramatic impact. And the only thing we ask is that the person has been in the Corps, served the Corps, and for only the second time, we've inducted somebody who's still active with the Corps. The first one was John Clower. Hopefully he will turn out better. All right?
Great. That's great. Bob, thank you very much.